Today I'm going to be showing you how the Alchemist uses this easy method to make these crazy boom bap beats, just like on Alfredo 2, the new album with Freddie Gibbs. I'm also going to show you a few different places that you can find really cool samples to work with, and then I'll show you how the method works across 3 different beats. Let's dive straight into it. So the Alchemist has talked a lot about how he's changed his approach over the years, and a lot of the time now, just like myself, he'll start with the drums just to get some tempo going, and then he'll just start playing different samples on top to get some inspiration striking. Let's show you how this works in action. So for the drum sounds in this video, I'm going to be using this kit, which you can buy on BeatStars. It's the Simard drum kit, and it's got these really good Alchemist breaks in there. I use this all the time for my own boom bap beats. So we can just drag something in here. I don't want to use the full break. I really want the high end, which is going to be just this bit. Got that hi-hat bounce, that swing. And then I'm going to use one shots to build up the rest of the drums, basically following the same sort of pattern, but using different sounds instead. And really, when it comes to building the pattern, we can be as off-grid as we want. The more the swing, the better. And just to make it easier, let's throw in the snare first so we can actually work out how the swing is sounding. And just manually move them a little bit off. So now that the snare's in place, it's just easier to work out where we want the kick to hit in terms of the swing. So we can see those 2 kicks are really off grid. It just sounds so much better like that. I like to do a couple different hat layers, one usually doing like a slower, steady pace, and then another one that can be a bit more like intricate. And again, just drag these off to give it a sort of languid, slower pace. And then we'll do another hi-hat, which is going to be like on the offbeat. And then the final drum sound is something I love throwing in. It's like the perfect way to accent a ghost note, and that's going to be a brushed snare. So it's just like a soft snare, like being hit with a brush, and you do it just before like the 1. You're going to get this really cool effect. So now we play all the drums together, and we've got like the perfect foundation that any sample is going to sound good on top of. Okay, so if you want places to find good samples, obviously we can't be like the Alchemist and, you know, buy all these vinyl records and sit there going through them all. Fortunately, with the internet, we've got some good alternatives. So the first one is this website, which used to be completely free, but now they have like a premium version, but it's really, really cool. You can see you've got all these decades, you've got a world map, so you can choose a different country, you can choose a tempo, slow, fast, weird. It's good to find something here and then just go to YouTube to find the actual song. I like to usually go to like 60s or 70s. Japan at the moment is my favorite place, obviously listening to Alfredo 2. That's actually amazing. So already I found something that would be perfect, so I can just go and download it, rip it from YouTube, we're good to go. The next website is samplet.io. I think a lot of people must know about this by now, but again, it's basically a similar thing in terms of just being like a random way to find music. God damn, so good. I've found so many good samples over the years from using these 2 sites, so definitely try it out when you just need some random inspiration to strike. The next place to find samples are YouTube channels. There are some dedicated YouTube channels for posting just classic music. This one, Andre Navarro 2, pretty much daily uploads going back years. I've found, again, so many good samples from here, so you need to have it. Another YouTube channel which I like to dig through is This Old Video Too. Not uploaded in a few months, but there's plenty of material. There's all these like weird like documentaries and, you know, nature stuff and animal docs. Yeah, definitely check that one out. The final resource for samples that I'll recommend is yarn.co. This is specifically for like movie and TV show dialogue, and obviously the Alchemist uses a lot of this in his different beats, especially on the Alfredo albums. You can just search anything. So I've been watching Sopranos again recently for like the 50th time, and there's a quote that he says a lot: you go about in pity for yourself. And we can see it's got all the clips from the Sopranos. Click into it.
You go about in pity for yourself.
Perfect. The easiest way I find to download the audio from not just here but anything I find online, like if I need a quick snippet, is just this sample extension on Chrome. You literally just click it, you can type in what you want to call it, you record, you can quickly edit it there and then download it where you need to. So really quick, really easy. So that takes care of the samples that we want to find. So now going back to this beat, here's a sample that I've got from somewhere. You can see it's a Japanese one. The Devil Comes and Plays the Flute, which is a really cool name for a track. So this is how it sounds originally. So what we're going to do is find the bit that I want to make the main part, which is the beginning. So what I want to do to get it to fit onto this drum beat is we're working at 69 BPM. The way I like to do it is make sure we're unwarped so that when we change the pitch, it stretches and whatnot, and then make it fit. And we can obviously choose the starting point wherever we want as well. So from the beginning. So we're almost there. So now we can just loop 2 bars. Almost. And then what I'm going to do is chop it there. And the way I want this sample to go is that just loops 3 times. And then the final time, the 4th time, it will do that chord change. And then it goes back to the beginning. So that's literally all we need to do. And then hear how it sounds on top of the drums. So really simple. When you've got like a sample that's already chopped up like that, you don't have to do too much. A bit of rearranging is like the basics. And then also just the EQ, we can just literally take out some of the high end. And yeah, it's got the bass in it. We don't need to add a bass. Good thing with Ableton is we can warp it, and now we can just mess around with the pitch. Put a ton of reverb on it through the send. And then if I'm using the bass from the sample, I usually like to put a bark of dog on there, which is just gonna, you know, increase the resonance of that bass. And then finally, just to allow the drums to hit harder, or the kick in this case, we can do a sidechain to the kick layer. We'll just use track spacer, sidechain it to the kick layer, and voila. And then I mentioned about adding accents and spices. This is a key element just to really make it your own and sort of change the vibe if you need to of the sample. Cool, so that's a really simple way just to easily build out a boom bap beat. Let's move on to the second beat where we're going to try and use the method in a slightly different way. I'm starting off again with the drums. This is a drum break that I've built from scratch once again. I'm just really into building drum breaks from scratch at the moment. It's just like good practice, but a lot of the time I'll just drag in breaks if I want to do something quickly. So I've got a few different samples loaded up here. Firstly, I want to show you Skinny Suge, which is my favorite Alchemist beat. It's one of my favorite beats of all time. It's just so hauntingly beautiful. The cool thing about it is also how it was made in terms of the sample. Then there's a bit of the sample that isn't used, and then it goes to the next bit. So essentially what happens is he does the method in terms of finding the bit from the sample, the phrase that he wants, you know, so moving the starting position. And then for the chord change, he wants a different part of the sample. So he just does the same thing, just moves like the starting point for that bit. So you get this just cool, flowing sort of melody. So anyway, I just wanted to show that because it's a good sort of way of understanding how the Alchemist made the beat, and it gets you really inspired because then when you find a sample, you understand that there are no limitations. You just take bits and pieces that you want and string it together. So let's look at this one, which is again from somewhere on Reddit, I think. But then if we want to find different bits of it and make it our own, all I'm going to do is the same thing where it's unwarped. I like to just mess around with the pitch. And yeah, again, just move that starting location. And then we can find again a different bit for that fourth time. And then we can fiddle around with that last section. Oh, that's pretty cool. So just stretching that third bar out, and then we get some like variation within the sample. So yeah, just really fiddling around with like the structure of a sample or a loop. So let's delete this one and look at this other sample I've got where basically I'm doing the exact same thing. So pretty cool as is. We could just, you know, drag it in, throw a break on it and we're good to go. But I like to do this method to get the cool stuff and make something really unique. Let's pitch it down first, like a ton. And then, yeah, move the starting position. Just that. I think that's literally all we need. Throw in a bass. and you've got like the easiest, quickest boom bap beat that you can possibly make. You can take these methods and lessons and processes that these producers use, but you're still going to have your own style, your own vibe. If you're just copying straight up what a producer does, then what's the point of making music at all? Okay, for the third beat, we're going to use this drum break from the Simard drum kit. Perfect already makes it really easy to make any sort of boom bap beat because you've got half the battle already won. Now I want to use this Japanese sample that I actually got from the Andre Navarro channel. Japanese samples always sound good, especially when they're using like Japanese instruments. This is like the perfect sample to use. You could literally take any snippet of this entire track and make something cool with it. So I'm just going to use like the easy bit right at the beginning, and we'll do the exact same thing. We're unwarped. We're going to literally just move the starting position. And let's just play it with the drums because then we can get the timing. So that bit we can use like after the third bar or something like that. So let's just save that. And in fact, let's pitch this down. Copy it 3 times. I've put a ton of reverb and delay on this as well, by the way. Again, you're adding the bass line, and then we can even put in that dialogue sample from The Sopranos, put a bit of reverb on it, and this is what you get.
You go and pity for yourself.
So yeah, that's the method in a nutshell, pretty simple. There's so many other ways to sample and turn, you know, old music into these crazy new creations. And in fact, let me quickly show you a beat that I made today that does more sort of traditional sampling in terms of the chopping. Takes a bit more work and effort, but you can get like a lot more unique in terms of the process and then the results as well. So we've got this sample, which is like a really cool old school Italian style track. But then when you chop it literally into grids, so you can see we've got it into these half notes. And then you can find some really cool chops. So in this case, I came up with this. If you want to see my full tutorial on making beats like the Alchemist, you can check out this video right here. Otherwise, have a good one. Peace out.